Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Living Interfaith Sanctuary. I'm going to be leading the service today. My name is Dora Lee Harrison, one of the community members here and also president of the council. I'm just very happy to be here with you all this morning. But before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that, take a moment to acknowledge territory in the lands that we are on. Here in Vancouver, I'm situated on the traditional and ancestral unceded stolen lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I know that many of you are on lands of other nations as guests, as settlers, uninvited guests. If you'd like, please feel free to write those nations' names in the chat. And always let us remember our connection to our siblings in these nations, and let us work and pray for the day in which we might be in right relationship together. Thank you. So welcome to Living Interfaith. Know that the whole of you is welcome. You are not asked to leave who you are in your home, but please bring who you are with you into this community today. But we also ask that you remember too that others here today have brought who they are into this community with them as well. That all of goodwill are welcome. So now we're going to take a moment together for our opening song. Turn it over to Bruce and Cheryl. Thank you. Well, time for a little announcements. Today marks the beginning of the launch of the 15th year of the World Interfaith Harmony Week as designated by the United Nations. A very exciting time to be in interfaith. It runs this entire week, culminating next weekend with some different events. So just briefly, because there's lots going on and I would love to hear other people's activities and events, but multi-faith groups in BC are organizing, centering their offerings this year around environmental themes, which is great. We're here celebrating Tu B'Shavat, the New Year of the Trees on this day as well, which is so fun. So kind of launching for those who live in the Lower Mainland area this evening, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat will be holding their annual interfaith dinner, the Baitir Rahman Mosque, which is at 9570 Delta River Road in Delta. The theme there, of course, will be religion and environment. We'll have speakers from different faiths, as well as plenty of delicious food. There may be still time to RSVP. The email address, Rachel and I will be there. Yes, please come join. I'm hoping my kids will come along as well. But hopefully we may see some other familiar faces who live in the Lower Mainland also. You can RSVP to the following email address if you are interested in attending. If you're in the email. So that's one of the opening events and towards the end of the week, and there will be lots in between as well, which maybe others can speak to. On Saturday, February 8th from 7 to 9:30, the Multi-Faith Action Society, which Rachel's a member of, will be holding an event at the Center for Peace in Vancouver titled Faith and the Environment. We'll have 6 prayer leaders from different traditions, speakers from an interactive faith and environment bingo game. There'll be refreshments to be served and the event is free. And you can register here. Oh, and now I'll open up to other events. I know that Kathy is part of things as well, and maybe other communities as well. So let's turn it over to the community to share.
Sure. Thanks so much, Dorley. Yes, on Wednesday, February 5th, I'm going to be offering a Zoom thing at 7 o'clock about the peace train that several of us took part in last year and some of the advocacy lessons from that. So I feel like we learned a lot about advocating for a political cause that way. In our case, reopening the Pearson Peace Center. So yes, so the Zoom, I'll put it in the chat. So there's the information for that, and folks are welcome to join. I'll talk about what we did and some of the steps, and then we'll have a discussion period where we talk about what are some of the things people would want to advocate for and kind of rally around going forward. So that's mine.
And I'll just read a couple other off of our announcements for if you go to our newsletter that's just come out as well. At the bottom, you scroll down and there's always a list of events. So also this week, Eye to the Ages, a multi-faith view of world history. Join interfaith author Harold Rosen, one of our dear members who's gifted us with so much education over the years. He's going to be providing a panoramic slideshow followed by a discussion about humanity's past, present, and future. And that's sponsored by the Surrey Interfaith Council and the Baha'i community. And that is Monday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. in the Colibri Center in Surrey. So please check our email that just came out from the sanctuary to get more details. As well as on Thursday, February 6th at 7 p.m. on Zoom, Buddhist three marks of existence in our planet home. And join Ken Madden to learn about Buddhist teachings, what they say about our relationship with our planets and as our home. So those are some others. Anybody else have things they want to share about within their community? Samir, yes, go ahead.
Yes, the first Repair Cafe in Vancouver for 2025 is 2 weeks from now. So it's going to be Saturday the 15th, which is the day also of our next service. But if people are interested in stopping by after, you can bring a number of things to fix, small appliances, clothing and textiles and so on. And it's at the Hastings Community Center. And I'm hoping to be there. So I may not see you guys in 2 weeks. Hoping to be there as a volunteer.
That's great, Samir. Any other announcements? Bev, do I see your hand? Yeah.
Yeah, I will just say that so here in Point Roberts, right on the border with Tawasin, at our church, I'll be doing the interfaith service on 16th. And it's very much modeled still on there are some biblical there's the Bible from the gospel and whatnot, and this one's on healing, and I haven't received the message yet, but it looks like it's going to go towards environment, so there we go.
Thanks.
And you can find that out by going to Trinity Church or Trinity Community Lutheran Church Point Roberts, or just Church Point Roberts, and or to our local newspaper, the All Point Bulletin. It's 11 o'clock on the Sunday. Thanks.
Thanks, Bev. Nothing else. Okay. Now let's turn our hearts into prayer, opening this morning together. For our opening prayer, I'd like to read from the Jewish Voice for Peace on the observation of Tu B'Shavat. Join with me. New life is rising. In dark, warm earth it unfolds, surging up through tangled roots, eyes blinking in the widening light, pulled by the inevitability of liberation. New life is stirring. Can't you feel the blood coursing once more through awakened hearts? Can't you see the crowd slowly gathering on street corners? Don't you hear the voices whispering it is time for the world to be born anew? New life is returning, sprouting through cracks in the concrete, blooming out of villages long buried and homes demolished, coming back to what was lost but never truly forgotten. Like the almond blossoms spreading across the hills, like the olive trees standing steadfast in rocky soil, New life is rising. And soon, so very soon, the land will open its arms to welcome you home. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Rachel now, offering our candle lighting prayer.
Thank you, Doralee. So for our candle lighting prayer, I'm going to read a poem called Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree.
Lovely. Thank you. Great. Now I'd love to invite every one of you to unmute yourselves and greet one another with a sign of peace. Peace, my friends. Shalom. It's lovely to have you here with us this morning.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Each of you.
Peace, everyone.
Peace, everyone.
Peace be with you.
Shalom alaikum. Shalom.
Peace and
Peace
love
to
to
all.
you all.
Peace.
Que la paz esté con ustedes.
Thank you, everyone. Now I'd like to turn it over for another song. Thank you.
Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Harashnu v'gam zaranu, harashnu v'gam zaranu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu. Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Harashnu v'gam zaranu, harashnu v'gam zaranu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu. Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Atzalinu, Atzalinu, Atzalinu. Harashnu v'gam zaranu, harashnu v'gam zaranu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu, aval od lo katzanu.
Thank you. Thank you. That was so much wonderful energy. Okay, now comes the time of sharing in our joint affirmation. Rachel, pop it up onto the screen. We'll share it together. Please join me as we speak our joint affirmation together. We come together in peace. We sing together in joy and with love. We worship together in one house, a house with names beyond number. Our paths are many, our beliefs are as leaves, and the tree that we cleave to is nourished by the light of compassion, justice, and mutual respect. May our lives, our beliefs, and our actions help to bring about the world of love we all seek, and let it begin here. Thank you. Now, just to take a brief moment of sharing of interfaith in our world, this is the time when we'd like to share about activities that are happening. We talked about some of the announcements and events coming up, but it's always nice to hear about the joyful things of where is interfaith showing up around us. So I know Bev Mar, you joined us today. You mentioned at the very beginning that you're part of an interfaith community, and I just wondered if you want to share briefly about what you're part of in this world.
Okay, I'm very much a bridge, is what I'm learning. And I attended an interfaith seminary 30 years ago, almost now, back in New York City. And I had no plans to preach. I was going to just marry a few people, and I did, of different religions often. And COVID changed everything, as it did for most of us. And our little community called me to also try and bridge and bring in different spiritual ideas. And I'm very much into the ageless wisdom teachings. And so I bridge in the sense of pointing out the expected one for so many religions. There's an expected one. And I bridge in just so many different ways. And I think we've just been touched by the Holy Spirit in so many different ways. And so out of that has come the opening. So we have Anglican, and we have Methodist, and we have all sorts of different belief systems, certainly in the Christian area. And but we're learning and we're opening. And so now we have a Unitarian we hope will be a regular as well and introduce us to different belief systems. And I think tolerance is one of the main things to come in our developments as humans, and to expand. And if you have some knowledge, it's a lot easier to be tolerant. So that's, I just go week by week and month by month, and do the best I can to bridge and to learn myself. And I do that at our little church here, Trinity Community Lutheran Church, also known as Trinity Church. It's an Icelandic settlement. And the Icelanders who were here 100 years ago were also committed to integration. And though they were definitely Germanic or, Swedish or Icelandic Lutherans, they wanted to bridge, and they made that clear to us through their descendants, that was always the hope, that we would be inclusive as a pretty small community, and especially this time of year. And so it's kind of exciting and a lovely challenge. So that's all I can say.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bev. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. It's nice to hear about these pockets of good work happening. I love your image of being that bridge for your members of your community and helping support that growth of tolerance and knowledge. It's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, our next piece today, I want to just invite everybody into just a short meditation before we do some silent prayer. Just take a moment to settle your body physically into the space you are. Just allow yourself to get a little heavy, your shoulders to soften, so there's any tension around your jaw. You can let your eyes close or your gaze just to lower, or whatever feels right to you this morning. Do with your body what it needs to do. In this moment of settling, and just invite your breath to deepen a little bit more into your body if you haven't already started to do so. Just allowing that inhale to fill you up, feeling the expansion, the capacity the widening, the resilience of your body, and taking in a breath with awareness and attention, and allowing your exhale to move out of you with the same kind of focus, noticing the softening and the emptying, the pouring forth that happens on the exhale. At whatever pace feels right to you in your body, just allowing that opening, filling with that inhale, and that softening and releasing with that exhale. Knowing whatever fills you up, the goodness, the light, the nourishment that you need in this moment, drawing that forward into you, that source that you turn to, the source greater than ourselves. Whatever that may be for you, allowing it to fill you with those inhales and drawing your breath outward, breathing yourself back into the source as well. Pulling in and passing out with the breath, the air of your body. And just noticing and reminding yourself how present you are, always in relation to the source, even though we may lose track of and forget at times. Here we are right now in community, sharing in this moment together. And from this place of sourceness, resourceness, I want to invite our reflections into prayer as we sit here in our own homes. You can keep your eyes gaze lowered or closed. And just uplifting in your mind now into prayerfulness for the next minute or two, holding what it is that your attention would like to move towards. There are so many things happening in our world today that require, demand, insist upon our focus as spiritual people, calling for presence of mind, in addition to action. How might our prayers lend towards change? Whatever you want to uplift. I know in my mind, I'm thinking of all of the anxiety and strife that is happening as a result of world leadership, making choices that are impacting our neighbors, our community members, our humankind. And I continue to uplift those who are impacted by decisions that are made, that are affecting lives and stability in homes. And I also continue to uplift prayers that those who are making decisions turn their face towards the light and remember the humanity of all. Whatever it is you need to pray for, want to pray for this morning, we'll just take this next minute in silence. Thank you. May it be so. May it be so. May it be so. Thank you, friends, for your prayers today, for whatever they are for. Now let us join together and lift our hearts by singing another song. I'll turn it over to Cheryl and Bruce.
ותומכיה העץ חיים היא, למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה, תחנוע וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו השם אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם. עץ חיים היא, למחסים קימה, ותומכיה מאושר. עץ חיים היא, למחזיקים בה, ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה, תחנוע וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו השם אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו
Thank you. Beautiful. So now is the time when we invite you to share in making our community possible. Some of you, many of you already donate regularly, and others have contributed generously to our stewardship campaign in the past, which allows us to keep our community going. Most of you know we rely entirely on donations to pay for our small staff, musicians, technology, and to bring our wonderful speakers in from different traditions. So no amount is too small, but I'm going to go ahead and put in our donation link here in the chat and turn it over to Bruce and Cheryl for song. Thank you.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you. Okay, well, this is the time where we usually take a moment to introduce our speaker and get into the day's observance, but today we have no speaker, and so we're doing things a little bit differently today. Of course, we're here as an interfaith community to grow and learn from one another's traditions, to build that tolerance and care for one another globally, but today we're going to proceed a little bit differently. So we don't have a guest speaker this week to speak about the holy day of Tu B'Shavat. And in this community, one of our agreements is that we don't preach on each other's traditions if it's holy days, if they're not our own. And so in lieu of that, we're going to be listening to a short talk thanks to YouTube, the magical world of YouTube, which is a place and source for many things. But we're going to be listening to a talk by one of America's forefront Jewish scholars on Torah and Jewish mysticism, Rabbi YY Jacobson, who's someone we may not ever actually be able to get here in our little community. So it's kind of a little bit of a treat to be able to access the wisdom of someone like him. And then we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to take an opportunity to invite the community to share, because this is the Rosh Hashanah of the trees, the New Year of the trees. And there's lots of pieces that are connected to this spiritually for the Jewish tradition. But I'm going to just speak a little bit about it from Wikipedia style, not as somebody who, and it takes this in from a faith tradition of my own, but and then we'll play the video. But then we wanted to invite some community sharing to talk about the trees in your life. This is something a little bit unique, but I think a lot of us maybe have relationships to the tree people, to the wilds, to places where we may have felt connected to the bark growers. So that's part of what we're going to do today. So we're going to listen to a little video and then do some sharing. So just to give a little bit of a background of the holiday, of this observance of Tu B'Shavat, it's the 15th day of the Jewish month of Shavat, the New Year of the trees. And why do trees celebrate their New Year's so much later than ours? Because Rosh Hashanah, of course, for the Jewish people is observed in late September. But the idea is that this has to do with the time of when the rainy seasons are concluding, which commences, at the beginning of the season of around the festival of Sukkot, which we got to celebrate. And if you remember, we had a mixed in person and online as we celebrated the Sukkot in early September. So now we're kind of celebrating the other side of the season of rain. And it takes about 4 months then for these rains to saturate the soil, nourish the trees, and then start to coax them into producing the fruits, of course, again, which the land of Israel and Palestine are so known for, the richness of dates and olives and, these kinds of deep, rich foods that come out of the land. So it's important to know that why they have this new year as well is that it's about this kind of marking of when the new year begins of the trees, and that's linked to the tithing season. So tithing, that any fruit that's been produced up to this date is considered fruit and abundance from the year before, and any fruit that happens from after this day is considered tithing, worthy of tithing moving forward into this new year. So. And also, I love this line. It's also important if you're a tree and you're looking for something to celebrate. So this holy day of Tu B'Shavat. So it's customary on this day to partake of fruit with which the Holy Land is praised. Deuteronomy 8, verse 8, olives, dates, grapes, figs, and pomegranates. So if tasting any of these fruits for the first time this season, remember to cite a blessing, God sustaining us and enabling us to reach this occasion. So I'm not Jewish, but I just read that off of Wikipedia. I love it. So now I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi Jacobson, who's going to give us the spiritual teachings behind this as well, which I think is just so lovely. And then we will do some sharing. So Rachel's going to load up a little video and enjoy.
The New Year for trees is an exception. What happens on this day? And why do we celebrate it? If we were to celebrate the date when the trees become adorned with fruits, it's understandable. The date we celebrate for the trees is actually at a time when the trees are barren and cold, naked, orphaned from their foliage, and orphaned from their produce. Yet this day became the Rosh Hashanah for trees. What is the meaning of this? And how do we celebrate it? We celebrate it by eating fruits from the tree, which at this point, the tree is not capable of producing. What is the message of this? In the land of Israel at this point, most of the winter's rain has already saturated the earth. by this day, the 15th day of Shvat, we can be sure that a new vitality, a new sap ascends into the tree, allowing for its future rejuvenation. At the surface, there's nothing going on right now, but that is only on the surface. Tu B'Shvat is the celebration of potential. Invisible potential, but real and authentic. All of the future growth of the tree is possible only because of the sap rising in the tree at the time of the 15th day of the month of Shvat. The potential has been created, and that is what we celebrate today. At the surface, you say, I don't see any change whatsoever. The trees are barren and lifeless, but precisely at this moment, life secretly started to develop anew in this tree. You can't always see the fruit, but you could still celebrate the process of growth itself, because the most important thing in life is to identify and celebrate the existing potential, not getting frustrated by the process, and imagining the final product right now to the point that we already sit down and we take fruits and we put it on the table and we say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam boirei pri ha'etz. Wait, the trees are dead. No. We don't see death. We see the potential for life, and we already are filled with joy as though the process has been completed, even though it has not been completed. This is a very comforting message in today's day. Many of us are on lockdown. Our lives have been transformed. Many of us have suffered significantly with the onset of this horrific pandemic. Everyone's life has been affected. There is fear. There is anxiety. There are those loved ones who we had to say goodbye to. And the finality is devastating. And the future seems bleak. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Will we have this under control at some point? Will life go back to normal? And yet I think that this message of the 15th day of Shvat teaches us something very powerful. And that is, real transformation happens in silence. Real transformation happens during those times in our life when it doesn't seem like a lot of good things are happening. That moment when the trees celebrate their birthdays are not moments that at the surface seem so promising. Whenever you have to give birth to a new reality, a new concept, a new emotion, a new experience, a new opening in your life, often you have to lose everything from the past. The seed cannot morph into a tree if it's not decomposed. If you want that the seed should be maintained as a seed on your windowsill, that's wonderful, but it's never going to be able to be transformed into a tree. It has to go through the stages of decomposition in order to be able to be metamorphosized into something completely new. And that metamorphosis is never visible. It's going to take a lot of time till we're going to see the results. But don't lose your enthusiasm and your passion during those moments. They once asked Winston Churchill what his definition of success was. And Churchill said, the definition of success is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm in the process. And of course what he meant is, that's exactly how you're going to succeed.
Thank you, Rabbi Jacobson. Thank you for this beautiful message. Deeply, deeply moving. Okay, well, let's join together in one more song, and then I'll end the service with a closing prayer, and then we can have the opportunity to share more after service is over. So thank you all.
חלב, חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת 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 חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, 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 זבת חלב ודבש, ארץ זבת חלב, זבת חלב ודבש.
A land flowing with milk and honey. Thank you for that song. That was wonderful. Okay, tree lovers, let's come together for our closing prayer here. Let's bow our hearts to the divine, to the leafed ones, to the ones who produce needles and bits of branches and sticks and nourish our planet with the breathing for us and with us. May each of you tap deeply into the root system that connects you to that which is all. May you feel the sap rising up in yourself, potential for whatever it is that you are working towards, the spring of your life. And maybe you're still in the sleepy winters, and that is also fine. Maybe you're in a time of abundance in summertime. That's also welcome. Let us all connect to our hearts, to the divine source that nourishes us, grows us, and leads us into the future of our own. May potential, may waiting, may growth, may abundance be with you for today and moving forward. And may that extend out to the world around us. May it be so. Bless you, my friends. Thank you for being here today.